Right then, morning all. Got this one in for a service this weekend. First things first, get some engine flush in there, get the engine nice and warm, get the oil done. Quite an easy car to service, to be honest. I mean, the air filter design is really good. You can just pull that down and pull the air filter out. It's nice and easy. Oil filter's just there, fuel filter's underneath. So yeah, get that one done, make a start on it. Right, engine oil's draining. To get to that sump plug, which is a 17mm socket, this under tray has to come off, so that's draining now. And now I'm going to the oil filter. What I forgot to say before was the fuel filter's behind here, so we'll have to take the airbox out. But if you're not doing the fuel filter, the service is nice and easy, because the air filter is just here. Pull them tabs down. I mean, look at how easy that is. I mean, someone somewhere, some designer, was actually quite clever. So anyway, I'll get this box out, and that'll give me access to the fuel filter, which will come out. There's a few sensors on, which we'll need swapping over and stuff. But yeah, do the oil filter first. Okay, so that's the airbox up and out the way. All it is a Jubilee clip. Pull this bit out the way, and then this just sits on some rubber bungs down here. It just pulls out. There's no nuts or bolts to lift it out of the way. So move that out of the way. And this here is your fuel filter. So there's like a water sensor on the bottom that we'll need swapping over. These other sensors here are part of the housing, which aren't part of the filter, if that makes sense. The filter's like a spin-on canister, but you'll see that in a minute. Okay, so to get the fuel filter out, you got these connections on here. I got 1, 2, get this out. Try and do it single-handedly. No, I have to get a little pick to bring the tab up. But you take these 4 electrical connectors off, and then there's 2 nuts here, 2 fuel pipes at the top, and then this whole canister thing comes out, and then you can swap over the water sensor on the vice, take the canister off the housing, spin a new one on, and then put it all back in the same way it came out. Just make sure you fill the new filter with diesel. Don't put an empty filter on. Fill it with diesel, otherwise you'll get bleeding problems and stuff like that. Okay, that's the new fuel filter on the housing there. I've put the water sensor on the bottom now. Now all it's got to do is go back in its housing here, and then it can go back into where it's supposed to go, down here. So yeah, that's the reverse procedure to get it all back in, and job's a good one. Okay, fuel filter, air filter done. Now onto the oil filter. This comes with a new sump washer, a new small O-ring which goes on the end of this bit here, and then you've got the main O-ring there. So I've already taken the big O-ring off here. I'll get that little O-ring off now, and then I'll fit these new seals, put the sump plug back in because the oil's drained now, and then I can top the oil up. Okay, that's the new oil filter ready to go in. Got all the new O-rings and stuff on. Get that in there. There we go. 27mm socket on the top. So I like to try and wind it in hand tight as much as I can first. Obviously it'll go a bit tighter when it gets to the seal. Okay. And then there's a torque setting on there. 35 Newton meters. Okay, that's gone hand tight. I'll I'll grab a torque wrench and I'll torque that up in a minute, and then I can put the sump plug back in and fill it with oil. Right, time to do the cabin filter replacement. And again, a really, really good design. So I'll just show you quickly. You have two sort of tabs that basically, they untwist quarter of a turn, which are these things here. They're what sort of hold the gearbox up in place. But then you also have a little damper there. You just sort of squeeze this end bit, pull that off. This then lowers the whole thing. And then the cover to get to the pollen filter is this here. So you just squeeze these tabs, that pulls out, and that gives you access to the cabin filter. So what you'll see here is all the stuff from outside that it stopped from coming into the car. So there's I don't know what that is, but yeah. So this is, cabin filter is basically what filters the air that's drawn into the car for your aircon and stuff like that. So yeah, I will say, and I say it every time I mention this to people, when you're doing air filters, look at cabin filters, sorry, look at the direction arrows on it. So on this, you need to make sure that on the new one, the arrows are pointing down. Okay, so that's the way the new one will go in. And then it's just a case of sliding that in, putting the covers back on. So there's like a little slot. That bit goes into just there, clicks back in. Glove box, put the damper back on, and then try and film this if I can. And then these little things here basically they line up with a hole behind there, and then there we are. Such a good design. That's it. Boom. Done. Right. This service is now complete. The oil's done. I've run it up. I've checked for leaks and all that sort of stuff. Just got to get that under tray back on. And that's it. Hyundai Tucson, Tucson, whatever you call it. 1.7 diesel service done.